My Demon is a Korean drama. Jung Ji-won, Song Kong, is a demon whose MO covers all the classics: uncanny magical powers at the snap of a finger, devil-may-care swagger, and an all-consuming yen for human souls. His is a textbook Faustian pitch. He'll grant unlimited power for a very limited time, only to send you to hell via heart attack in exchange. That said, there's more to our demon than meets the eye. Holy water doesn't hurt him. Next to black leather and a sardonic grin, crosses are his favorite accessory. He's been wheeling and devilishly dealing since at least late Joseon, but it's hinted that he once was human. As for our heroine, DODOHEE, Kim Yoo-young, is more than a match for our fiend, in both ruthlessness and flair. She's the glitzy princess of the Myri group, in charge of the award-winning Myri FMB Miranda Priestley. Eat your heart out. Heads are about to roll when Do-hee learns about a recent article lamenting the sugar content of her company's flagship drink. This hatchet piece has to be an inside job. However, her warpath is interrupted when the formidable Madame Ju, Kim Hae-suk, chairwoman of Myri, demands that she go on a blind date. As a serial heartbreaker and chronic workaholic, Do-hee is not really one for warm and fluffy feelings. However, when she's accidentally brought to the wrong ritzy restaurant, she's confronted by our demon, in one of the most memorable of meat-ugly moments I've ever cackled at. It's mutual disdain at first sight. Do-hee is appalled at his arrogance, Gu-won is aggressively confused, and both thinks the other is utterly unhinged. Geez, can't a demon book out a whole restaurant to consume an entire birthday cake on his own in peace? Well, not without considerable misunderstanding. Earlier, Gu-won collected on the soul of a crime boss. Now, the guy's flunkies are back for revenge. The cake goes flying smack in the direction of Do-hee's head. She's romantically whisked out of the way by Gu-won, who's unable to stand any harm to his beloved, dessert. But as it turns out, today is Do-hee's birthday, and he seemingly bought her cake. She flees to the back, cycle through all 6 stages of grief at being attracted to the deranged, sugar-loving hottie currently beating up 10 gangsters unbeknown to her. Alas, her acceptance is short-lived. By the time she returns, Gu-won, fresh and mourning for his cake, snaps at her. Why would he care about her birthday? However, Do-hee's relationship with Madame Ju is unexpectedly adorable, albeit not without its dysfunction. Do-hee receives an urgent text from her boss/surrogate mother, directing her to the hospital. Our girl collapses, weeping, over Madame Ju's sleeping form, only for Madame Ju to sit up, crack an eyelid, and laughingly present her with a birthday cake. The two proceed to mercilessly bicker, but it's clear that this is a relationship built as much on love as emotional blackmail. Madame Ju is determined for Do-hee to begin living life, rather than just dwelling on her parents' deaths, which of course, took place on Do-hee's much-dreaded birthday. The reason she insists on the blind dates is so that Do-hee can find someone to be on her side. You always taught me, retorts Do-hee, to trust no one. Well, yes, admits Madame Ju. But loving someone means that even if they betray you, you'd understand. You're that person for me. Do-hee spends the rest of her birthday brooding on the beach. But when she calls for a cab, everything goes horribly wrong. The car stops. Her driver, a man with a strange, bloody rash on the back of his neck, Kim Seol-jin, lunges for her, telling her that she's going to die. The reason? Ju Cheon-suk. Do-hee manages to evade his grasp, staggering away from the car. But mist and terrifyingly impractical heels make for a suboptimal escape. Do-hee finds herself trapped between her pursuer and a dark, looming silhouette up ahead. Gu-won. My life, reflects Do-hee, feels like it's shrouded in mist. Is everyone around me a foe? Ultimately, all she can do is trust herself, and take a chance on a demon. She plunges towards Gu-won, calling for help. Sure, he says. But you need to make a deal. Don't worry about the specifics for now. Do-hee, businesswoman to the core, snaps that signing an unknown contract would be crazy. But with her life at stake, sure, let's be crazy. Soon, her attacker's body is flung against the windscreen. The road borders a river. Do-hee tries to hide behind the railings, but when she looks up, she meets Gu-won's eyes. He offers her a hand. As she takes it, the tattoo of a cross on his wrist begins to glow. But then, the attacker, whom, evidently, was not as dead as he seemed, drives towards them. Gu-won snaps his fingers, only for nothing to happen. Our heroes are sent plummeting into the water. Do-hee knows that if she tries to save Gu-won, they'll both sink. And yet, in her last moments of consciousness, she clutches for his hand. His cross tattoo burns into nothingness, and reappears on her wrist. Mercifully, death by drowning is virtually unheard of in K-drama, with plunges underwater carrying a 1% fatality rate. Our heroes wake on the shore. Gu-won grabs Do-hee's wrist, as a wave breaks dramatically over them both, only for Do-hee to pass out. Do-hee comes to an hospital, under the uncharacteristically attentive gaze of her nightmare date. Turns out, Gu-won took her comment about politeness to heart. Now, he's all gentle reassurances. That, he snaps, is my tattoo. Do-hee's eyes widen. What's this tacky, drunken mistake doing on her skin? Clearly, the only answer is to get it lasered, or, maybe cover it up with a tasteful Pororo picture? Gu-won's answering horrified expression is a thing of beauty. Insults are flung. There's an embarrassing sort of scuffle. Gu-won goes for her wrist again, Do-hee goes for a slap, and finds that it doesn't connect? At least, not until Gu-won drops her hand, at which point it connects super hard. Gu-won is left with a bright red handprint on his face, a newfound dread of animated penguins, and, most importantly, the utter absence of his demonic powers. This is a serious concern. If Gu-won fails to collect on deals, then the punishment won't be pretty, he'll spontaneously combust. How long does he have? Unclear. But hey, even without magic, collecting on souls is easy, right? Do-hee swears to Madame Ju that she can handle this alone. Still, her would-be assassin's words haunt her. Is Madame Ju hiding something? Madame Ju insists she isn't, but the confession she makes to her priest suggests otherwise. There's something weighing on her conscience about Do-hee, something to do with a very incriminating flashback. A burning car. A smashed-up mobile phone, with a call from my daughter Do-hee. And Madame Ju, lying next to the wreckage, with her knee a mess of blood, an injury that pains her to this day. Gu-won would like to register a complaint. He's been feeling dreadful since their accident. And he's adamant that she see for herself. For want of any other plan, he's opted to turn on the demonic charm. I've never felt like this before, he murmurs to Do-hee, when they meet. I feel like a different person. And, here, he touches her arm, you're the reason for my symptoms. Do-hee had intended to fob him off with cash, lots. It's in a moment of weakness that she instead agrees to go on a drive with him. Look, she's not shocked by the fact that Gu-won takes them to a car park where one of the cars is, rocking. She's just skeptical about the location. And is Gu-won saying they can do it outside? That's a crime, Gu-won laughs, since when did they criminalize a stroll by the river? Do-hee actually looks a little disappointed. They go for the stroll. Gu-won moves in close enough to kiss, placing a hand behind her neck, and then, with a grin that can only be described as devilish, hurls them both into the river. Underwater, he clings to her wrist, willing his powers to return. But when they surface, nothing changes, beyond the fact that Do-hee is incandescently furious. She almost drowned today. There's still someone out there trying to kill her, and what did she do wrong? With visible effort, she collects herself, plus, the envelope of cash. The latter, she throws at Gu-won's feet. I owe you nothing, she says. Damp and disconsolate, Do-hee begins a long trek home. She stops before a news screen. Mr. Cha, a financial chief, was found hanging in a public bathroom. Little does she know, he's another victim of her would-be killer. He tried to contact her earlier, with information that could allegedly put her in charge of Myri. As Do-hee's back is turned, a motorcycle comes skidding towards her. Its rider hurls a flask of acid at her, but before it connects, someone throws himself in its path. It's Gu-won. Cue end of episode. It's the English recap and review of My Demon episode 1 and 2. For more recaps like this, stay tuned. If you want to hear more videos like this, then don't forget to like and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you for your support guys, keep supporting me.